we hope you'll really like.
We are,
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
It's my turn?
It's your turn.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
The Son of Frankenstein.
This one is probably just as bad as his father.
Good morning, son.
Well, hello.
My son, you have inherited the fortune of the Frankensteins. I trust you will not inherit their fate.
By heaven, I think you're a worse fiend than your father. What are you going to do about it? There's a monster afoot and you know it.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Tom Lang, and if I sound a little different, it's because I have a new shoulder.
That's right. Yeah, you do sound different.
Okay.
I don't know. You got nothing. Yeah, it's really the creaking, the metallic scraping sounds. You're really coming through. It's great.
Okay. Join us for minute 91 of Son of Frankenstein. We're rounding the clubhouse turn, heading into the home stretch here.
It's true. Just think, in 10 weeks, we'll be talking about a different film.
Wow.
Is that right? Something like that.
Never thought it possible.
Yeah, we've been doing this one for
We're going
2 years.
Almost 2 years now. Yeah,
Yep.
That's a long time to live with a film.
It is.
I feel sorry for those Star Wars people that have
That's
to live
true.
with
Well, no, but
the
see, they
Phantom
did-
Menace for...
They did one thing different than us. They do 5 a week,
Okay.
so that gets through them quicker.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need that.
You would be done with this whole
We'd be
thing by
done.
now.
Yeah, we would have been done within. Yeah, I mean, probably
Pretty close.
Like,
I think
2 years probably
yeah.
would have taken.
Yeah. We find Krog poking around the passageway beyond Peter's bedroom.
Yep.
He goes back into the passageway, and we don't see anything really of this set back there. It's a little disappointing because there are a myriad of stills of this set that exist, and it's a really cool looking stairwell.
There's apparently pizza back there.
Yeah,
Anybody who hasn't seen that picture has no idea the still of.
Well, you can just come to my house, come down into the family
the still
room.
of
There's a
Karloff
giant
as
blow up of
Frankenstein.
him sitting on the steps with
There's steps.
Edgar Norton's double lying on the floor and
What looks to be a pizza box.
Yep.
What is it? What do we?
I think it's a tray. It's the tray that Benson brought up for Peter with the food.
Okay,
That's my guess.
Okay.
Or else it's a gag photo they did in between, and it is a pizza box, but it doesn't seem like a thing that would happen in 1939.
No, not really. No, that's true.
I don't know how common pizza was.
Pizza boxes, yeah. When we first see is him, Crow go into the hallway, and the music is dramatic and giving us great tension.
Yeah.
And then it pays off because we look down on the floor, and what do we see?
We see Benson's lifeless corpse.
Yep. Now, what's next to it? It's a rock. It looks like a big rock.
It's part of the structure of the stairwell.
That makes sense.
If you look at there's all kinds of stills of this, like we said, and there's even stills of Frankenstein throttling Benson.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just kind of like a mound of, I don't know, a structural thing at the bottom of
the reason I mention it is it looks a little wet. Like, is there blood on it?
Yeah, something running down it, and you can see it on the photo that's out there.
Okay. Maybe we should be out there. I keep looking.
I could just move everything out there.
That one.
You see?
No.
Yeah, it could be blood.
Yeah.
Because there's a dark something running down the sort of ovular construct at the bottom of the stairs that we never see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a shame that it doesn't appear in the film because it's a really cool looking set.
I agree. That is an odd choice.
Odd that it's not featured.
There must be some reason. Lee must have looked at the footage and said, "Nah, this is low quality.
Can't have this." That's clearly a criteria that he's been using throughout.
Oh, bad news. We'll be on Ghost soon. 10 more weeks.
Yeah, well, and then we can talk all about some bad choices too.
There you go.
Although I do look forward to that.
Well, it'll be nice to have a change.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, a secret passageway is a pretty great place to hide a body.
Yeah, till it starts to smell a little bit.
Well, the smell is a problem.
It might be an issue.
Well, I was going to say,
otherwise,
it's also not as good as melting the body in a sulfur pit. If you had one of those nearby and convenient,
if you got a handy...
that sounds crazy, but
yeah,
possible. It's an odd choice that Frankenstein apparently... I'm assuming Frankenstein left the corpse there.
Lying there.
Yeah.
Well, because I said there are stills of him choking.
This is true, but this is apocrypha. It's not in the film proper.
Okay,
it's not even in the extended version.
No, it isn't.
But you do tantalizingly suggest the possibility of an even more extended version, which we'll never see.
I doubt that exists any more than we'll see the 98-minute Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. Unless it's in they've got a vault somewhere in Kansas Kansas. An old missile silo or something that is the right climate to store this stuff. And somebody has just got to go through it and find it, and it might as well be us.
I think if anybody's listening from the salt mine,
from Universal Pictures, if you're.
My thing is still, I want to see the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman stuff. I know those other things we just talked about are probably a little more valuable to monster fans, but everybody's got their bugaboo.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
Yeah.
Just to
see really how bad it is.
Was it really that bad?
Which is kind of what I expect from Magnificent Ambersons, because if people gave it those bad reviews that went and saw the preview screenings, it's probably bad.
It probably was, yeah. I mean, Orson Welles is lionized, and by us as well. But in all likelihood, it deserved to be recut and reshot.
Yeah.
Because he does, I've seen Mr. Arcade 4
4
times.
Yeah.
There are some really odd choices that he's made.
Yeah.
And I can't say because I haven't seen it, but maybe RKO wasn't wrong. Maybe Robert Wise did the right thing. I don't know.
It's funny, there's that documentary that I've watched several times. I'm sure it's not available anywhere. It was on... I can't think of the name of the show now. Like on the BBC, like 30 years ago or more, and they do interview Robert Wise.
The South Bank show, or
no?
Incredibly Strange.
Starts
Film
with an
show?
A and it's one word.
You got me. Anyway, Albatross.
Anyways, they did a 2-part documentary on Orson Welles, and one of the people they talked to is Robert Wise, and he says the film artistically was better the way Orson Welles did it, but he had a job to do, and he had to make it. And he also says history has shown since the film that ended up releasing is considered a classic, they couldn't have done too much
harm to it. Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's probably fair, but.
And Wise said he desperately tried to get a hold of Orson in South America, and Orson just never responded.
It is harder to get a hold of people in 1940.
41, yeah.
If you can't get a hold of me for 2 days, it's like, boy, you're an asshole.
Yeah,
what's the matter with you? I quit the podcast.
Anyway.
Missing footage from Son of Frankenstein, make it even longer, would love it. Krog doesn't even check to see if Benson's okay.
No, he doesn't.
He immediately assumes
he's dead.
He's dead.
And we do too. As the audience.
That's
and
true.
I mean...
Maybe he smells dead. Maybe he's been dead.
He's been dead. Well, he's been dead since...
we don't know. A day? I don't know. I can't tell what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we are anymore, because doesn't Fritz say we sent him up with the baby's supper and hasn't been seen since?
And that was about 40 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's been a day, maybe, that he's...
Well, the watch.
Because Krog meets Wolf leaving the castle in the morning and says, have you found your butler yet? Oh, no, he's probably out whoring.
Drinking and whoring.
Yeah. So it's been at least a day.
Yeah. So, he probably stinks.
Probably a little obvious.
How long does it take for a body to start to stink?
Well, let's find out.
Let's find out. Only one way to find out. Mice seem to start to smell pretty quick, but then I guess I don't know.
They're pretty small.
They're pretty small. Does that matter? They thing that makes them smell, that process runs faster, like everything in mice.
Yeah. What did they call that? Morbidity or
sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I watched tons of these forensics and true crime shows, and
it doesn't come up.
Doesn't say how long you got before it's going to start to.
You know who's making
attention.
one of those true crime shows? Dave Barsky.
Is he?
Yep. I can't remember what he said about it, but I need to ask him what it is and where I can see it.
And where you can find it. Yeah.
He told me. I forgot.
Okay.
When it comes up, we'll mention it.
All right. So yeah, I mean that's he takes the rest of the watch chain off of Benson's vest.
Yes. He doesn't spend a lot of time investigating the crime scene.
No.
He doesn't. But in this case,
and I think maybe part of that is a result of editing, because all we get are these little close-ups.
True.
And maybe he did in a longer edit, although I don't think there was an alternate edit of this ever.
Never, right.
But there might have been footage shot of him
doing
some further investigation, and maybe it was felt at this point we need to move towards the climax a little quicker.
The movie does move more quickly at this point.
It does at this point. From here on, it actually moves.
So that's probably intentional.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
And I'm guessing we don't see Frankenstein killing Benson earlier to prolong the suspense of what happened to him.
Well, there's that. Arguably, we don't know that Benson's dead until this minute, but we did.
We did. I mean, come on.
All we had was Igor. Well, Igor said,
"You don't have to kill him to death."
I don't have to kill him to death. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why would he? Why is he dead? It's possible Igor was not telling the truth.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see.
You know, the other thing about securing the crime scene, though, arguably one great way to secure a crime scene is to lock a secret door behind you. So
that's
he's not completely incompetent, Mark Crowe.
No.
and he is waiting for help. I mean, I believe that is the status at this point.
Yes.
He's waiting for someone to disperse this.
Told Schmidt to...
Schmidt had to go to talk to Captain Johnson.
Yeah,
Captain
that's what
Beefheart.
Beefheart.
I don't know. And we never see Frankenstein or Igor go in or out this way either.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I think this is where Igor was peeking through that little window.
It's in that vicinity.
In that area.
Yeah.
But none of the geography of this room matches that shot. I don't know where that little window is in this room because it's all edited in as inserts, so you can't really get a full view of where he's looking in on Peter.
And that can be really annoying in a movie when you can't quite picture where anything is.
Yeah.
But I think in this movie it works fine because these are secret passageways and we don't need to know.
We don't need to know.
We don't need to have it's like in Clue when you go from one side of the board to the other.
Yeah.
Clearly you've gone around the earth. I don't know how you've done this.
Yeah.
But we don't need to know.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's irksome, but logic and geography aren't this movie's strong point to begin with.
That's true. I gotta admit.
So, anyway, we cut. We're fewer and fewer
lap dissolve.
Fewer and fewer lap dissolves as the pace
pickens up. It's just a cut.
Up.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
Excuse me. It's a cut of the lab set. Igor's corpse lying next to the large table fit for a jant.
Yep.
And we can see in the background Frankenstein emerges from being blanched in the sulfur pit.
it's just blanched.
Yeah.
He's been blanched before.
He has.
Yeah. He's good at it.
Yeah.
He got those big boots too.
I'm sure he'd
probably that alone would
stomp out all
live for more than 1 or 2 seconds.
I suppose.
Or your feet would anyway.
Anyway, he kind of stops partway up and sees Igor lying there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah. He everything about this minute, and we'll talk more about it next week, is a series of choices that he's making, I assume, or Lee is helping him along. Whoever's responsible, they're all the right choices. He's climbing up the ladder,
which we never
see. Karloff's choices, as an actor. The things he chose, the moments he has here. So we see him come up what we assume is a ladder. I guess we do see a ladder later, but we never see it from this angle.
Right.
And you can almost attribute different thoughts to every time he pauses. Like he stops and as if to who's that? Why is someone laying on the floor?
I think
and then he gets up and then he's
wait a minute, is that
Igor? You know, he does a series of these, and it's all perfectly done, of course.
Well,
we blow a lot of smoke up Karloff's ass on this podcast. No, we love Boris, but in this film, as we've talked about, he's got less to do.
Yeah.
And now we've reached this point where he's got something to do.
A big moment.
And he's going to take it.
He's going to milk it. Yeah. And he does in a good way.
In a good way.
He discovers Igor's body, and he kneels over it in kind of dismay, almost not. It's like a kid finds something dead and doesn't understand.
Yeah, he's completely that character
dead
still.
Or what's wrong? What happened? Why is he laying here like this?
Yeah.
He really does some great acting. He grabs Igor's hand and kind of clutches it to him and rocks back and forth.
Yeah.
Just in agony.
Yeah, he falls to the floor. The guy's got great knees at this point, I guess.
Oh, God, I'm sure he's
30 years we see him.
Yeah.
And his knees are not good in targets.
No.
Or any of those.
Anything from like the...
Actually, targets is good enough.
Anything from like the mid-40s on, I would say.
Oh, really?
Starting to show.
Well, this doesn't help.
No,
he does a couple of things in the next few weeks. But he dives to the floor practically, and it almost looks like he's going to kiss him. He comes down totally right into his face.
Yeah.
And then, he grabs his hand, and he's rubbing his hand, and
it's like rocking back and forth, kind of side to side.
Yeah. And I think at this point, this is kind of an interesting time for the minute to end, because next minute we're going to do some more of this, so I don't want to talk about it too much, I guess.
No,
but at this point, I think it's safe to assume he doesn't assume that he's dead, just that something's
wrong. Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't understand exactly what dead means. Actually, I forget that's the character from Bride of Frankenstein.
Who loves dead,
hates living. Oh,
so,
here we go. Man. He should be fucking thrilled then.
Hey, you did it. You made it.
Welcome.
Good for you. Yeah, join us.
Join us. But it's very authentic the way he's so awkward about everything he does. That
Well, I
he
mean,
stops and looks and
it goes back to
sort of falls to the ground.
It goes back to the first film where, everything he does is new to him.
Yeah.
And there's some of that brought back here.
Yeah.
And this is probably the last time we'll see any humanity in this character from now till the end of the film.
Well,
Not this moment.
Yeah.
I mean, there are little glimpses maybe in Ghost.
We get some in Ghost, so I'm willing to let that one go.
But overall, it's done.
I think we'll talk about it in Ghost a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely the same character in Ghost, but not for long.
Not for very long.
And then,
the actor,
then the tragedy happens.
And the actor doesn't do much with it either.
I agree. We're not going to get a moment like this ever again.
No.
That's true.
Yeah.
Karloff cares about this character, and
Yeah.
it's meaningful to him how this character... Well, we've talked about how he didn't even want the monster to talk in the second film.
Mm-hmm.
So this is arguably, for Karloff, a better moment than anything he's had since 31.
Maybe.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll go with that. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And it almost sounds like he says no at one point.
Oh, really?
I think it's just a little grunt, but
Okay.
it sounds...
The subtitles are no help.
Because
They
there
just
aren't
say
any.
grunt, grunt for
yeah.
the next few weeks, I think.
But it almost sounds like he says no. I don't think he does. Wishful thinking.
Yeah. Well, that would be nice to think he got the power of speech back.
Here's the thing. In everything you read, it's like, oh, he's lost the power of speech. But we don't know that he can't talk. He just doesn't. And then reading about Bud Abbott, Lou Costello meet Frankenstein. Oh, he's regained his power of speech because he says a few lines.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he ever really lost it. He just is now forming words again. It's not like anybody ever said, oh, well, physically he can't talk anymore because his vocal cords are blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's just whatever, the castle blowing up at the end of Bride and the lightning hitting him, is fucked up his head.
Yeah. And I think that's reasonable. But none of that... I agree with everything you're saying because none of this actually matters. It doesn't actually impact anything in the story. If the monster spoke in this film or the next film or the next film, it wouldn't change a whole hell of a lot. He doesn't need to in this film, so I don't know.
Well, and Karloff said no.
I think
that's
no.
basically...
There's your episode title.
Well, and
Karloff said no.
Because
it's perfect, because you were just saying you thought he said no.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
We
Really
should write that down.
Yeah, bro, let's write this one down.
Yeah, this will take a while. Give me a minute.
I can't believe I'm only just now putting together that's the arm that you write with.
Yep.
Why did you have this surgery?
Because I just had nothing else to do. I was bored.
Yep. I'm thinking I might get one.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. The ball and socket, the cartilage was pretty much gone. So it was bone on bone.
And why?
Just years of...
Jerking off.
Well, see, that doesn't do anybody any favors, but... No, it's just 30 years of, building big things and sculpting and it took its toll.
Because this is a surgery that, football players have and stuff. And so I don't know if you're a football player when I'm not watching.
Yeah, well, something you don't know. But,
yeah, well, could be. Hey, you could be playing quarterback for the Vikings and it wouldn't hurt anybody. Yeah, everybody'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Might be a good idea to have a lefty in there.
Yeah.
Southpaw, throw him off.
Sure.
All right. That sound, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with the hat because it's going to take more time than it's worth.
Oh, well, I do see the hat.
The hat is here. Yeah.
I can at least confirm the hat is present.
Oops, it's falling apart.
No, Tom has to. Oh, Lord. What a mess.
Disaster. Okay.
So the next few weeks of Got Any More Questions, Wise Ass?
Got any more questions, wise ass?
I don't know. I should never start with my apology. This is something that I've talked to my wife Jackie about.
I was going to say
when I go that probably is true too. But when I go to make dinner, sometimes I'm like, you know what? Just leave. I'll take care of it. I'll make dinner just by myself. I like to do that, or breakfast doesn't matter.
Sure.
And then I'll say dinner's ready, and she'll come in, and I'll start to say, now just be aware, I accidentally didn't put the pasta in. It's a little too al dente or something. But you should never do that.
No.
And that's why I shouldn't do that with Got Any More Questions, Wise Ass either.
Okay.
Everything's great. And here we go. Question number 1. Christopher Dobsch says on Facebook, some of these just right out of The Village.
Okay.
So we gotta fill time on this.
We're only about 15 minutes in. So.
Christopher says, I still don't know why, but every time you refer to the monster as just Frankenstein, I giggle a little too much. Laughing face, laughing face, laughing face. And then I think you must have responded, my work here is done.
Yeah.
So, good. Just that one I think is especially valuable to our listeners, that if we have any that are fucking sick of us doing that, we got at least one piece of feedback. We only have one piece of feedback so far.
No, somebody said something at one point too. Why? They asked why we're doing it. Because we did answer it.
Okay.
And we said
that's right, we did.
In reaction to people bitching about, that's the name of the doctor, not the monster.
It isn't. It's almost like the fact that it's a trope. That's a joke. Now the joke is to make a meta joke on top of it. Right. You can't even make that joke anymore. Right.
And so it was just in reaction to that, and we think it's funny.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's because we laugh every time too, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah, that people will have noticed. Yeah. All right.
So
I'm going to try
Thank you, Christopher,
for your question.
Enjoying our little antics. Putting up with our idiocy. I'm going to try and do two an episode and see how this goes. Mike Herman. Oh.
Now, speaking of Mike
Herman, yes, a big thanks to Mike Herman. He sent me a lovely photograph. I mentioned it a few weeks back how it's one of my favorite photos taken on the set of Comedy of Terrors.
And I got to be honest, I don't think I've seen this exact one. So this is great. I've seen other ones from this shoot where they're just laying there. I guess I don't think I've ever seen this one.
Yeah, and what it is, we've got Peter Lorre, Basil Rathbone, Boris Karloff, and Vincent Price all lying in coffins. And Vincent Price is reading an issue of Variety, kind of looking bored.
Yeah.
It's great. Lorre, I'm not sure what he's doing in the background.
He's also trying to read Variety, maybe?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it.
Yeah, over Vincent's shoulder.
Yeah, but Boris and Basil are lying next to one another, and it looks very much like they've cracked each other up.
Yeah.
Boris is laughing pretty hard, kind of that.
Yeah, he's
up,
doubled over.
Well,
Well, they're laying down, but he's up, he's sitting up and kind of doubled over.
And Rathbone's got a huge grin, like they've just had the best joke ever.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite photos of all time, so thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Well, I thank you, Mike, because I get to look at it now while we're talking about the end of Son of Frankenstein, my favorite film, with Basil Rathbone and Boris Karloff, and they share a lot of scenes together, and it's awesome to think that they're old pals by the time of this film. What year would this be? 60?
This was 64?
Oh, that late. I guess it's 60, so I guess it's pretty close. But years and years later, decades.
Yes. Let's see, it is 64.
Okay. The year before Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Right.
That was the last time we talked. All right, so
what's Mike's?
Back to Mike's question. The movie finishes. This is his question. I didn't capture what episode he's referring to.
Okay.
But the movie finishes strong for all the complaints about that runtime. Thank you, Mike. Now,
I've never said I had a problem with the ending.
Okay.
Or the climax.
Yeah.
The ending itself, yes, but the climax is...
So I really like what you're doing here, Tom. This is exactly the right attitude to take.
Yeah.
Now, at least, we're all on the same page. The movie does finish strong, so the complaints about the runtime probably won't... If anybody's annoyed by complaints about runtime, there probably won't be a ton of that for the next...
Well, because there's only
10 weeks. Well, that's, that's half a movie back in the old days.
By that point, we'd be partway into the next film.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's what we got for blah, blah, blah this week.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, we continue to be available on all the social media platforms, despite the fact that some of them have been taken over by evil monsters and
trolls
and anti-Semites, and it's just everything's a nightmare
right now.
And we're right in the middle of it. We're smack dab in the middle of it because we don't fucking care. But what you should do, once you're done following all of that, is go to patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute and sign up at the $2 a month level, and then say, do you want to give more? Say yes, and do like $100 a month.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll actually
start doing something.
Make it worth your while. All right.
I do want to also shout out and thank you to Vincent and Matt from Camp Kaiju.
Oh yeah, we had a great time.
For having us on. That was a lot of fun.
Yep. Did you listen to it yet?
I haven't had a chance.
It just came out. Yeah.
It came out just yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a week ago now when this comes.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Or more.
No, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. You missed it.
But the day we're recording it, the episode dropped yesterday.
Yeah.
We had a nice, lively discussion about Frankenstein Conquers the World, a.k.a. Frankenstein versus Baragon.
AKA, and you can just keep going.
Yeah, it's Frankenstein versus Frankenstein. I'm not sure what
that's
Germany called it.
Yep. I listened to it and...
Did you? Okay. Are we as disruptive as I...
Oh, yeah. Actually, I feel like when Vincent went to edit it, he probably just gave up because they have a more strict format than we do. And you barely can tell when you listen to it. But what I love is
I offer my apologies.
I was listening and about 5 minutes in, I go to say something really stupid. And I'm like, oh, God, I hate this stupid thing I'm about to say. And he cut it out. It was gone. Whatever it wasn't there. I was like, good editing, buddy. Way to go. But yeah, it was good to talk to those guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We should have them on at some point as well.
That's right.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Again?